What's up, guys? X Ricci here, bringing you episode 6 of the F1 podcast with my co-host Andrew,
Hello.
Erica,
Hello.
and this is episode 6. And today's episode is going to focus on the Russian Grand Prix, and this is a pre-episode. As we're recording this before, I think today is Wednesday. Yes, today is Wednesday.
Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, is it Thursday? Oh, wow. See. It's Friday light. Sorry. I think that's the better way, as people like to say. As always,
It's Friday Eve.
woo, geez, just starting off great. Just want to say thank you guys so much again for the support. Myself, Andrew, and Erica really appreciate all the comments and the likes and the views on all of our channel on the YouTube and on not Spotify, SoundCloud. And so we had a week off. How's everyone doing? Who's excited to go back to Russia?
Oh, not to Russia, but I thought you just meant for races.
Okay, that too. Because honestly, when you have a break, it's just kind of like you realize that weekend, you're like, oh, I can. What do I get up for? What do I do?
Yeah, as a guy who probably I get up for college football on the Saturday and then NFL on Sunday, like religiously now coming to like January. But I love race weekends where I can watch a race at 9 a.m. and then flip to football all day. That's like my whole plan. It's beautiful.
You literally just become a couch potato.
No kidding. Like the meme that Erica shared us with regards to, or was it you, Richie, with regards to fall? It perceives to be like just a good time, and then reality, we're just sitting on the couch.
Oh, it's a Seinfeld one. Yes.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, it's Seinfeld posted, I think it was the George Costanza, where it's like the fall and it's him running. He's so excited for the fall, but in the reality, it's the episode with him sitting on the couch and he has the snack. Like, again, I need to find out where this chair is. If you can have a built-in fridge in your chair, like that is the ultimate goal.
That'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever get up.
I need to invest in that, or I got to talk to someone. Okay, so Russian Grand Prix. I guess I'm going to turn it over to whoever wants to start. Obviously, as we're well aware, the incident that happened at Monza with Hamilton and Verstappen. This is a track that Mercedes has dominated since 2014. I think there's no secret that they are the favorites going into this weekend, and especially with Max having the 3 grid penalty. And actually, Andrew just mentioned that Charles Leclerc is also serving a penalty too, because they're changing. I think it was changing their gearbox. So I guess, Erica, what are your thoughts leading into this weekend? Love to hear do you think McLaren will come back and do another great run?
I would love it if they did. I think that would be so much fun, especially because, as everyone knows, and as we just said here, I'm a simp for Norris. So would love to see him do well, maybe get another podium finish. But I have to admit, the Sochi track is not one that I'm overly familiar with. I don't think it's one that a lot of people have really taken the time to make note of over the course of the last few years. But like you mentioned, my money's on Mercedes because we've seen, since 2014, they've pretty well won every single race. I think were they there in 2016? I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's the one year I think is kind of missing if they were. And I think we're going to see them really kind of push to work together a little more. We might not see Bottas trying to go for that win the same way as we have in years past, because, the pressure's on now for Hamilton to really finish these last few races strong to win the Drivers' Championship. So I think we're going to see a little bit of push and pull. I think Max is going to be frustrated if he has to start behind a McLaren or maybe a Ferrari, if someone kind of gets a start ahead of him in qualifying with that grid penalty. But I do think he is going to be trying to put the pressure on Mercedes as we go through into this race weekend.
What is your cat playing with in the background?
Oh, can you hear that?
Oh yeah. For those on the pod, as I like to announce every episode, we have a very special guest. Erica's cat has made an appearance in pretty much almost episode. And the cat made another appearance. So as Erica is going to go deal with the cat, Andrew, what are your thoughts leading into this weekend as well? just to save Erica. Oh yes,
it's this little jingly ball that he plays with for anyone who's like, what's that noise? And yes, I do have clients that have commented on it while we have been on the phone. So.
That's awesome. Well, to be honest with you, so I've just taken a look, and Benz/Mercedes have won the Russian Grand Prix every year. It's in its inception. They won the first two, and I guess I don't even know if you call it a race back in like 1913, 1914. Ben wins the race there. I know Formula One wasn't formulated yet until 1950, but they won the race. And then since its return in 2013, Mercedes has won all 7 races.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So with that being said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mercedes are going to go 1-2 this weekend, like McLaren did last weekend, in the sense that I think their car is well suited for this track. Hamilton's won it here 4 times. Valtteri's won it twice. He's the recent winner. He's podiumed here 3 times. As I said, grid penalty for Verstappen, and MGHU, I think power unit replacement for Leclerc. But I think Mercedes are going to dominate this week. And when I said that, I think, was it a couple weeks? Was it from Monza when I said it? And none of them finished. Only one of them finished on the podium. So maybe I'm just going to jinx. Maybe I'm just the Mercedes jinx when I call this. But I think Mercedes go 1-2 this week. Based on an article I read about how Valtteri is claiming that he's going to take one for the team to help Lewis in the title fight.
Loser.
Yeah, just disgusting behavior. But I get where he's coming from. Might as well leave with the championship going forward. But I think with that said, I think Hamilton's going to finish 1 based on team orders. Valtteri's going to finish 2. And so it's not confirmed if Max is going to take out his grid box, right? Or is going to replace his power unit this weekend. No way. I'll go Max 3. They'll have to fight for it, but I think we're going to have the classic Ham Ver bot, but with the Ver and the bot flipped to bot Ver.
I guess I think I align with a lot of that, because like if you just literally go on the Wikipedia page and you see ever since oh my gosh, what is it, 2014 I think it was, and it just Mercedes dominance, like it's a shoe in to support them. But I'm just wondering, does this all now change if it's going to rain all weekend?
Good question. So it's supposed to rain Saturday, not Sunday. But I don't know if you saw the pictures of this week. The track was flooded. It was awful.
I saw a really great meme where they were saying that the new power unit in Max's car was just going to be a little like 15-pound single prop motor for like a boat in his car going into Sochi. But I don't know. I mean, usually when weather is kind of all over the map, especially if it's rainy, I mean, I'd still put my money on Lewis because he's such a talented driver and has really shown that in those wet conditions, he can usually pull through and do pretty well. And given that Mercedes has been so successful here, I think it kind of like was mentioned before, it just teased them up for a good weekend. I'm not really sure if that would impact their performance too much.
No, I totally agree. I don't think, like Lewis is a masterclass, the guy in the rain. Valtteri's had some trouble with the rain this year, Hungary in particular, off the start. But I wonder if I remember watching the Drive to Survive. He said qualifying 3rd here is the best position because of the slipstream effect you get into turn 1 going in. So I don't think that'll be an element to play. It could be an element to play on Valtteri's mind. But if he's going to be following team orders, I think they're going to be probably 1-2 at the top of the grid. But I would love to see somebody just come and steal the show this week. And in terms of an exciting or a new person coming in for a battle, like it'd be cool to see Russell dominate a qualifying lap in the rain again, and have him finish like maybe top, on the front or second row if it's raining on Saturday. I'd love to see McLaren back up again and just make it competitive. I think Ricciardo, he downplayed any idea of having a repeat weekend in Sochi, but I think that's got to give him some confidence, build his momentum up, as well as Lando with regards to McLaren, so that they can be competitive and I think finish on the second or third row come qualifying time, as well as Alpine. Apparently, for like a midfield battle here, Alpine's package is pretty well suited for this weekend. So I think hopefully it's a fun race. I know people in the past have said it's kind of a boring race, Sochi, and hopefully there's a little bit of rain there, because I don't think they've ever had a rain race. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But
I can't confirm that.
Fair enough. Kvyat was on the weekend warm-up with Buxton today, and he's saying that if it's the tarmac's pretty smooth there, so it's going to be pretty slippery in the rain. It should lend to some exciting race conditions if it is a little wet on Sunday. So I'm intrigued to see what happens this weekend. It's one of the final races that are going to be here in Sochi, as the Russian GP is going to move to what's the place again, Richie?
So Igora Drive, St. Petersburg, 2023.
Yeah, so you get a couple more races here in Sochi. I think that'll be great for F1 fans. They're probably excited to move away from this track. But I think it would be nice to see, somebody new emerge this weekend and, create some excitement for the fans.
So I think a couple things there to add. I think those are all good points. I'm actually curious why Daniel Ricciardo would really play down, especially after winning. Because I think his last win was definitely with Red Bull. Mm-hmm. So he clearly was able to perform that weekend, despite obviously the incident with Hamilton and Max. And it showed that he's getting much better in the second half of the season. I think, that summer break really helped him cool the jets or recharge or whatever he needed to do. And he's driving. So I wouldn't really count him out this weekend. I think if it does rain, maybe that's a little bit of effect. It'll be nice to see Kimi Räikkönen back on the track after missing two races due to COVID. It'll be kind of nice to see maybe if he can at least get into the point system, maybe a P9 or P10. I also, we all joke about it, but it's Nikita Mazepin's home race. So, I think we're all hoping for not a spin out, but, maybe like a good showing. Erica, before you got on, this is, Haas re-signing Schumacher and Nikita for next year, as well as I think Gunter signed again. And as well as Ashton Martin re-signing Lance. Oh my gosh, Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel. Wow, that's embarrassing. I'm curious to see how Nikita would do at a home race. I don't know if the pressure of being home drivers being on their home turf really, gets them going, or they're able to, I know we saw obviously this year with Leclerc crashing on the quali, but I'd be interested to kind of see on some of those dynamics. I'm hoping for a Kimi and at least and Mazepin to go at least somewhere close to the anywhere from P9 to P11. I think that'd be a good success story for them.
I think it would be insane if we got Mazepin up there. So exciting if he was able to. That I was not thinking that high. I was thinking it would be great if he got P15. So I like your optimism there. That's really exciting. But I think that's the one thing, right? We see with some of these drivers, being at your home race can either make it or break it, right? It either gives you that confidence and the excitement you need to really kind of push to the next level, or you kind of buckle under the pressure a little bit and don't perform as well as maybe you would have expected to. So I think that'll be one thing to keep an eye on for Mazepin, especially when they've had a pretty tense couple of weeks over there in the paddock between the two drivers.
You both are more optimistic than I am in this case, because I'd just be happy if you finished the race.
I mean, that's valid. That's definitely valid.
But what was the comment he made earlier this week? I thought this was mind-boggling. Oh yeah, how he says the final half of the season is going to be tough because Haas doesn't even have a simulator.
Oh right.
How do you have it? How does an F1 team not even have a freaking simulator?
For me, that's just, I wonder from a driver safety perspective, because you've got all these other guys who have been able to be in a sim, kind of test out the track in some capacity or another already. In doing so, are familiar with some of the turns, things of that sort, and are going to be flying at a much faster pace. And then you've got Haas just kind of limping around because their drivers don't really know the track until FP1.
Hey, you think with like the sponsorship dollars that like Maz brings in, his dad's pretty wealthy. A couple $1 million just put into a simulator, for crying out loud. Like, that's just, again, as you said, Eric, it's so dangerous to not have that, because how do you calibrate your car correctly for that particular weekend? Like, you go off historical data, I guess, but with whole new if with reg changes and stuff like that, that can become a little obsolete in terms of how to calibrate your car. But
that's like showing up to soccer practice with the soccer ball.
Yeah, literally, like, nothing else about it. You don't know how to kick it. You do not understand which end your team is trying to score on. You're just there, and maybe you've got a jersey.
Yeah. I thought that was just blasphemous, that the fact that they don't have. I get like you're a low like cost of a very cost crunching team, but come on, you got to have a sim. How do you expect to train your drivers?
Do you think could that be a possibility that they're maybe not showing? Well, number one, like, I think they should have a sim. I think that's a no-brainer, especially if you want to compete in the sport. But is this kind of showing the end? Like, maybe is the Haas not really want to put 100% into their Formula One career?
I think it shows a change in ownership soon, especially if Andretti I know Andretti was having talks originally with Haas to take it over, but he's more pushing towards Sauber and Alfa Romeo's side. I think Gene's probably looking to sell the team ASAP, especially if they're terrible next year. I think Gene's out within the next couple of years.
There's also the piece of me that kind of wonders, because sims aren't super new. Like, it's not like this is the first season anyone's had one. I don't know if maybe it's just a cost thing. Like, they're a little bit of a late entrant into the sport, so when these things were new, it was a little less money for R&D and development on the part of these other teams, but it's just increased to a point where now to even get into having a sim or develop something is just such an expensive undertaking that they're trying to manage their budget for the season. And it's either have parts on hand for a car or invest in a simulator. So
you think Gunter just tells Nikita and Mick to go play the F1 game, and that's
probably
your sim for the weekend?
we all joke about it, but like, a lot of these drivers, like, during the pandemic, early on when the race was, like, they had all their systems. They had the whole they have the F1 and they live stream on Twitch, but they have the actual, like, the $1,000, like, literally the whole car set. And, like, there's a photo of Valtteri in his beautiful house in I think it was in Finland, and like his wife is just like on her bike, and then just like him just playing the sim. Sorry, not the sim, but F1 2020. I think it was 2020 at the other. One thing that we actually didn't talk about that I'd be interested to kind of see how this week would go is the second Alfa Romeo seat. I'm curious to see if Giovinazzi is going to continue to do well, especially with a lot of pressure of another article coming out on for the Formula1.com about Guangyi Choi. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right.
Guangyi Zhao.
Yeah, thank you. My apologies. Doing more pressure to get that spot. And like, Gio's finally competing and able to get points, but I'd be interested in seeing how that goes through.
But I definitely think that he's going to still be trying to show the team that he's got value, but I really do think that the biggie will be, if you are Alfa Romeo, is it too little too late? Because this is so long into a contract and into a season, and as we've said before, you're kind of sitting there like, what the hell, where is this coming from? And you want someone who's maybe new and a little hungrier, that's going to put that kind of pressure on other drivers right from the get-go at the start of the next season. So I think we're still going to see Gio really kind of pushing for a good result, but I definitely think that he's still not in the clear, and he's not necessarily going to clinch that seat as it stands, especially when you've got the sponsorship money that stands to come with this new driver.
He's he got 14 points in his first season, 4 points last year, and he's currently sitting at 1 right now.
he's not that good.
Yeah, maybe that's probably a good point. Yeah, no, I'd be extremely see if the pressure, how he's able to bounce back this weekend. So I think that'll kind of be new. So we talked about what our predictions are. We kind of talked about what is the lay of the land. I don't know. Are you guys surprised that I guess Aston Martin re-signed their drivers despite where they're sitting at in the standings right now? I guess Andrew, you want to do that, and I guess this will be the last question too. Just looking at the timing. Sorry, it's a short episode this week, guys, but we'll have a lot to talk about after the race.
In short, I'm saying I'm not surprised just because I don't think anyone else on the grid was better to handle Aston Martin. They're going to be going through a big development year next year. I think they're going to put a lot of money into their development facilities, and they're going to become really competitive in the next couple of years. And with the competitiveness, you need experience. And I think Vettel's still hungry, and Vettel's still wanting to win in races. And I think Stroll, despite his kind of poor efforts this year, he's had he had great experiences and he's had good results in previous seasons of F1. So I'm not surprised at all. I think it was a great move, it was a smart move, and I really don't think there's anybody else on the grid that would have been a better choice than those two drivers.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I can't think of anyone else already on the grid that would move into one of those seats, and I don't think Aston Martin's really in a position or willing to kind of bet on an F2 driver or someone else to kind of come in and assume the role. So definitely kind of excited to see what they get up to next year, and I think it was a smart move on their part.
It'd be kind of stupid to change drivers. I think they need those two, Vettel and Stroll, need another year and just see how things boil over. On to fan questions. Unfortunately, we did not get any fan questions this week. So to the people, I just want to say, continue to send them in. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Is there a quick one we can answer like right now?
Well, I think we talked about our thoughts about Russia, and I think we did the question about the second Alfa Romeo and the prediction about Haas and re-signing up. So I think quickly, podium predictions. Let's go. Andrew, what do you think?
We're going to go Hamilton 1. We're going to go Bottas 2. And we're going to go Verstappen 3. Mercedes are going to take a chokehold on this championship from the constructor standpoint this weekend. And I think this is going to be a turning point a kind of an extension point for them.
All right, Erica, what do you think?
Rainy weather. I'm going to go off on a limb here, and I'm going to say it's Hamilton first, Norris second, and Bottas third.
Ooh.
Just because I would love to see it.
I'm going to go Mazepin 1, Mazepin 2, and Mazepin 3. I think home track just sees the advantage. Absolutely not. I'm going to go Hamilton. I'm going to go the Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Just keep it nice and simple. I just don't feel comfortable, especially with the Mercedes dominance and the potential team order that could happen. My outlier is going to be, how is Verstappen going to do if he is put more back towards, not so much more back towards the grid, but if he is like a P4, P5, and he's stuck between a Ferrari or McLaren or any of the other drivers. So
he hasn't really battled in the midfield this year at all. So it should be a really interesting case if he does.
Exactly. And I think definitely on that note, obviously this episode was a little more quicker, but we really encourage everyone to continue to submit questions. And I think we're going to have an exciting time. We were supposed to talk about the Michael Schumacher documentary this episode, but unfortunately, we actually are going to probably do that next week, since we have the break to, what is the next race, guys?
Turkey.
Yes. So on that note, it is X Ricci here, and just make sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch and on SoundCloud with my two amazing co-hosts, Andrew.
Bye, everybody.
And Erica.
Peace out, y'all.
And we'll see you guys in episode 7. And again, thank you guys so much for the support. We really appreciate it. Let's go Russia Grand Prix.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Yes.